You don't need 12K, 8K, 6K. Hell, you don't even need 4K to be honest. 1080p, good clean. 1080p still gets it done in 2026. One thing I've learned working in sports media is that 4K and up is extremely difficult to pull off. And if you look at the most watched games every single year across broadcast television, it's always football. And football is broadcast in 1080p, 60 frames. That means that the Super Bowl, with Bad Bunny and all, was broadcast in 1080p. So if it's good enough for them, why is it not good enough for you? Why do you need 8K, 12K, 6K? You gotta have all the resolution, all the frame rates in your cell phone, in your action camera, in your drone, in every single camera you have. You gotta have the most Ks, the most resolution. You don't need all the resolution in the world. I've worked at a lot of companies. I worked at a specific company, the worldwide leader in sports, some would call it, and we did college football games in 720p. And we didn't get as much complaints as I saw this past June in the NBA Finals when they were bumping it up to 1080p HDR. Like, so even a higher frame rate of HDR didn't look as good as the 720p. This is what I'm talking about. I think we get caught up so much in just having the most resolution, the most megapixels, the most frame rates, the most everything. When to get it done day in, day out, the EDC of resolutions truly is 1080p. When you have good, clean 1080p, that will body 4K 24, 4K 30, or 8K 30, which is in my cell phone. Why do I have 8K 30 in my cell phone? It's a cool party trick. It's cool to show people that they can do it. But if I really cared about resolutions and if I was all about that pixel peeping life, which I am not, and I'm so grateful that my brain is not wired that way, I would have a hard time like trying to justify 1080p 30 frames versus 8K 30 frames. When it comes to my cell phone, you might be able to see like a 10% difference, but is that 10% difference worth the file sizes I'm going to get now for shooting in 8K 30? I think we have a resolution problem. I think we have analysis paralysis when it comes to resolution, because the notion that you gotta have all the megapixels in the world, you gotta have all the resolution and all the frame rates in the world, to me, when there's still good, clean 1080p that gets it done. Like, we've all seen bad 4K. We have all seen cameras, whether it's action cameras, cell phones, or even some mirrorless cameras. And back in the day, even DSLRs that had bad 4K. So just because you have 4K doesn't mean it's good 4K. Like, 1080p to me is like that good middle ground. If I could get good, clean 1080p, like this video you're looking at, this quality you're looking at is 1080p 60 frames per second. Now, I upscale it to 4K in post because YouTube as a platform likes it. But in terms of the raw that I'm shooting, it's 1080p 60 frames per second. And this is good quality. I think there are certain things that are pushed on prosumers or whatever level you classify yourself by those that are in the film industry that makes it seem like, oh, you should have this, you should want this. And it's like, well, no, that's higher level stuff. Like, you don't need that. Like, NKBHD just did a video where he went by NBC and he saw all the tech that goes involved with the cameras, and all the stuff is 1080p. And a lot of people were in the comments like surprised that it was 1080p. And I'm like, yeah, that's the broadcast standard. That's what I have been trained on, and that's what my eye is trained on at good quality 1080p. When you have good quality 1080p, I will push past that 4K real quick and go right to 1080p 60 frames. That's the first thing I do in any camera that I buy, whether it's cell phone, action camera, whatever. I go straight to the 1080p first. Yeah, you can sell me on one of the selling points might be the 4K 120 or 240 or 480. Yeah, that's a cool story, bro. But for me, I'm like, how does your 1080p look? Because if I get the 1080p looking good, I'm staying right there. That helps me with file sizes in post. That helps me with file sizes in terms of storage. Like, I know podcasts that shoot for hours that record in 6K. Do you know how many terabytes of footage you're pushing through just for a podcast? That is insane to me. When you could drop that down to 1080p and save yourself and your editors and your hard drives and processors and GPUs and CPUs so much stress in post. Now, will there be a time where your 4K TV receives an incoming signal from a broadcast television partner that is a 4K native signal? Yes. Is that time right now? No, not even close. Will that be in the foreseeable future? Eventually, but I don't think within the next year or two, or maybe even 3 or 4 years. So, like, there's strides being made now still within the 1080p scope. Like, there are companies, high-level broadcast companies, that just bumped up from 720 to 1080p And we're talking SDR, and they got PHDR. Like, there's still levels within the 1080p scope that have to be figured out. So while we're rushing to get all the Ks, 4K, 6K, 8K, 12K, at the broadcast level, which are racking up the awards, racking up the ratings, they're still trying to maximize 1080p. One of the things I often hear from creators when they're talking about why they need all the resolutions and all the frame rates is, oh, for my client work, or when I do shoots, when I do work, when I get paid work. Dude, you really trying to tell me that your client work, that mom and pop shop, for instance, that corporate headshot gig, they really need 6K, 8K? Your work is going to be that much better going from a 1080p workflow to an 8K workflow? You telling me those clients could tell the difference? That mom and pop shop, that florist really knows the difference. That florist is going to be pixel peeping? I don't want to hear that, bro. Get that light off to somebody else, not to me. Like, you get those extra frame rates and resolution because you can upcharge. And I'm not sitting here hating on it. Get your money, right? But don't tell me that your 1080p was so trash that with the 6K, everything just went through the roof. Everything, the ROI went crazy. Like, no, I don't want to hear that. So, to me, get those lighters off on somebody else. It's a way to get more bread. And again, get your money. But don't try to sell me that because I'm shooting in 4K, 6K, 8K, 12K, that has made such a big difference. Like, it's just a flex. It's a flex to be able to say, yeah, I shot this at 12K. Like, your footage, this footage I'm giving you, you have a 4K version and you have a 12K version. Oh my God, 12K, I didn't know they existed. Well, you know, that's why you rock with me. I'm giving you stuff in 12K. I'm giving you deliverables in 8K. I think it's cool that the camera companies are able to pump out these sensors and be able to have the processing power inside these bodies to be able to process 12K, 6K, 8K. I think it's dope. But that stuff doesn't trickle down to broadcast. That stuff has not made it down to, you know, the masses in terms of the broadcast level. So I'd rather stick with where broadcast is at. Once they've have maximized everything that it can, once they've squeezed every bit of juice out of the 1080p, and then they start to dabble into 4K and native 4K, then I'll explore that. And, you know, and hopefully as my career progresses, I'll learn the ins and outs of that. But as it is right now, 1080p, I'm sorry, man, it gets it done, bro. Like, I understand the clamor to want more. I understand the gas behind wanting to have the latest and greatest, not just in terms of gear, but in terms of resolution and frame rates and megapixels. But 1080p, whether it's 24, 30, or 60, or even 120, still gets it done in 2026. Until further notice, I'm Team 1080p. Let me know in the comments. Are you riding with 4K and up? Are you shooting 6K raw? What's the justification? I don't see it, but let me know in the comments. Let's have the discussion. So I'll go by the name of the Sam D. This has been Show Free Tech. I'll see you again real soon.